This is another episode of the Flight Ringers podcast. I'm David King. That's Dan Spottswood.
It's good to be here. Thank you.
We are professional cartoonists, and we are Legion of Superheroes experts.
Did you guys lose your senator?
I think we lost her a long time ago, but yes.
Yeah.
But they've already put somebody new in place, probably some awful shill type of person.
They're keeping the seat warm for Adam Schiff.
You think so?
Yeah, totally.
How come he hasn't run for it before then? He's been a state rep or whatever House of Representatives forever.
Yeah, I don't know why he changed his mind, but long before she died, like 6 months ago or more, he said he plans on running.
Oh, really?
Like whenever she announced that she wasn't going to run again.
Huh.
So he's one of the people running. I kind of like him just because he is such a pain in the ass to Donald Trump, Adam Schiff.
Yeah,
even though he's kind of a Pelosi Democrat. Yeah, it's so stupid. I waste so much of my time listening to like political news. It's like it's like sports. It's such a waste of mental space, and I don't know how much of it I actually retain.
You know way, way more than I do.
I don't know
anything about this stuff, really. Some of the local shit, I mean, like, whatever the fucking, my state senator died, I knew that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I almost tweeted, I almost wrote a joke about her refusing to step down even in death, but I was certain like 10 people probably beat me to that with funnier punchlines.
Yeah, every time somebody dies and I think of a joke about it, I check first because somebody's already made it.
Right. It's like anytime I like coin a word or anything, it's always been thought of 100 times before. Sometimes like someone is suggesting it every minute. Jesus.
Well, just once I'd like to be the first to the whatever you call it when somebody dies, you know, like I wish I could remember who it was. Who has died recently?
You killed somebody once, sir.
Yeah, just so I could make a joke about when they died.
Uh-huh.
No, it was, it wasn't Pee Wee Herman, it wasn't Feinstein, but like as soon as I read that this person died, I was like, got the joke. And I went to Twitter and, 100 people, every other tweet on like the hashtag or whatever,
right,
was people making the same joke, like they were way ahead of me. But if I'd been there right when the news broke, I could have made that joke. You know?
I imagine some people have them queued up, just like the obituaries are surely
really,
you know, especially for like the old people.
Yeah, I guess maybe that's it. Maybe that's true.
Mm-hmm.
What a life to have, pre-writing jokes for people when they die.
Cartoonists are probably pre-drawing the, Barney meeting Andy at Heaven's Gate. Come on in, kind of shit.
I almost was like, I bet Joe Matt masturbated to death or something like that. But
oh yeah.
I didn't say that one. Would have been too close to home for all the people I follow.
That one's probably not too unique though, too. Also,
right?
Yeah, quick to.
I would have to have been first out of the gate with that one too.
Yeah, I mean, if he died at his drawing board, he must have been jerking off at the table.
I didn't see anybody making funny jokes or mean jokes about his death, really.
Yeah, people used a lot of restraint. He's like one of those guys I think a lot of them sort of respect, but they also think he's problematic by today's standards anyway.
Yeah, it's strange that of those three guys, is he the middle problematic? Like Chester Brown's the most strangest one, and then Seth is like the most normal one, and then Joe Matt was in between.
I don't know. That's a toss-up, I guess. Probably Chester's more deeply problematic. And he's also he's got a bigger voice. More people know who he is. He actually produces work.
Well, yeah, he's a lot more respected as an artist, isn't he? Like even like if you put a Chester Brown book side by side with a Joe Matt book, the Joe Matt book seems much more frivolous because all it is about him being a cheapskate and
right,
beating off or whatever.
Right.
But then the Chester Brown stuff, he's has done more thoughtful things, I suppose.
Right. I know. Maybe he's a libertarian or something fucked up, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think he's kind of buddies with like Dave Sim or something.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe. I don't know that anybody is really buddies with Dave Sim.
He's like a regular letter writer to Cerebus, I guess, or was.
That could be. But all those dudes all read each other's comics and wrote letters to them, right? I never read Paying for It. I don't know.
I read about half of it, and then I just got distracted. I'm not anti-prostitution. I don't know how much of that is what people's dislike of it is about, or it's probably deeper, darker things going on in there. But
I see people subscribe to his like Patreon or whatever, and they get his whatever comic that he sends out sometimes, and they look really cool. I wish I could get them, but
I didn't know he was still making stuff.
I mean, I don't know how often it happens, but people were getting things somewhat regularly from his Patreon, and it would be like he redrew 10 pages of a 60s Batman comic or something like that.
Oh, wow. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, I never signed up for it.
Right. Didn't he have some comic where maybe he was making comics and he's like drawing them on Post-its or something and taping them all together? It looks very labor intensive. Like he draws each panel as its own separate thing. And
I think Louis Riel was like that. Mm-hmm. I think it was like not Post-it notes. It was like a real piece of art paper, but yeah. Each panel was on a separate piece of paper.
Geez.
I don't know how you would do that.
That book looked really nice.
That was a good comic. I liked that. That's the only thing of his I've really read. I've read maybe one issue of Underwater or something, and that's all. I collect them whenever I see them, but I've never really read them too much. I have a collection of, is it called Happy Clown? Ed the Happy Clown?
Oh, yeah. Everyone says that's his best stuff.
Oh, really? I have it. I've never read it yet.
I haven't either. I think I even have a collected edition of it somewhere that I never got around to.
Yeah, I saw it for like $2. I'm like, yeah, I'll buy that. And it's on the shelf. I've never read it.
Mm-hmm. All right. Are we ready to do this?
Let me take these out of the bags here. I sent you the letters page earlier tonight, but maybe it was on the website. I don't even know.
Yeah, you did send it. I was actually reading it when you sent it.
Oh, okay, good.
I was like, oh, cool, a PDF. So I brought it into my PDF reader, and it couldn't identify the text. I'm like, what the fuck? It said there's no text to select here, like it was an image.
Oh, it is. It's a scan of the letters page.
Yeah, I know. I guess it just seemed ironic to me that I took a screenshot of it and then went over to photos, and then I could select text from there, but I couldn't do it in the PDF reader.
Oh, that's weird. That's a limitation of Acrobat, I guess.
It was good reader, actually, but same.
Oh, yeah, I guess I could have. I mean, I would never have done it, but you can do like OCR automatically, and then it kind of makes the text live. But yeah, like all these photo apps and your phone and shit, like it does that automatically, and it's just smarter than Acrobat, which is amazing.
It's hilarious.
Like, get ahead of your shit, Acrobat.
Get your head out of your ass.
Adobe. Everybody hates Adobe.
I know, I fucking do.
I'm so locked into it, man. Whenever I lose my Nickelodeon job, I don't know. This podcast shit, it's over.
I know. It's such a nightmare.
Drawn comics is over.
Yeah, unless you've got a gainful employment in the arts, it just seems like almost foolish to spend that much money.
Yeah.
Every month.
But see, now I know how to use all the Adobe stuff. Like, I've been using Photoshop every day for like 20-some years.
Yeah.
And now I know Premiere, and like you were talking about, you had the idea that maybe there's a way to automatically remove like the silence out of a video or an audio clip. Mm-hmm. And so I've kind of figured out how to do that. Mm-hmm. But you have to use Adobe Audition to do that. So now I'm using Adobe Audition too. And it's like, what the fuck? And InDesign, anytime I want to make a comic, it's like, well, shit.
Right.
If I can't afford any of this stuff, I'm fucked. I can use Clip Studio, but I don't know any of the other stuff.
Yeah. Well, Clip Studio is a very different thing, but I feel like there are many Photoshop-ish programs and InDesign-ish programs where maybe the quick keys are different, but it isn't like radically different.
Oh, okay. Well, but I want to open up my old InDesign files. They probably do that too, don't they? Like you can open Photoshop files on like Procreate, can't you?
Yeah, there's like those open source, like GIMP, I think.
Oh yeah, that's real old.
Really unfortunate name, but
yeah, yeah, it just kind of annoys me that, like, I mean, it's great that stuff's out there because that's totally sensible. Like the ones where you can buy it one time for $30 when it's on sale on Black Friday and you're done. Mm-hmm. but like I don't know how to use them. I know these fucking expensive ones
Mm-hmm.
after all this time. First world problems.
Yeah.
All right, we're looking at what?
You haven't turned the camera on, right?
I have.
Okay.
Legion of Superheroes number 23.
Howdy ho, flight ringers.
Yeah, hey, hi everybody.
Welcome to our show. Today we're looking at Legion of Superheroes, the Baxter series, number 23, Back Home in Hell. It's like the best title yet.
Back Home in Hell? That's what I feel like every time I get home from being out.
Yeah. If you left the house, that would be how you felt, yes.
Yeah. Actually, I'm the opposite. I think it's heaven to be inside my house. It's the outside world. That's
outside
heaven.
is hell.
Other people is hell.
Mm-hmm.
Other drivers are hell.
Fuck those guys. Well, where you live, half the time, no one's driving. There's empty cars running over poor ladies.
Driverless cars.
Yeah, there was a big stink about that a couple days ago, but I guess it was sort of overblown because I think the lady was actually hit by another car with the driver, and then she was thrown into the other lane and then run over by the driverless car.
Wow. I didn't know that they actually were doing that, but I guess they're still doing driverless cars.
I think it's amazing that they can just drop enough money and the city's okay with them experimenting on them.
Did you see that? I saw a tweet and somebody put up one of those, as their vertical camera phone video.
Mm-hmm.
They're driving beside this guy in it must be a Tesla, but you can see that the driver of this car has his seat kind of reclined back and he's asleep.
Awesome.
On the freeway.
That is awesome.
And they filmed him for it's like a 15-second video. Like, this guy is just driving this way.
I love it.
Insane.
I would love that. I would totally nap all the way to
yeah, I mean, I don't want to drive.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be the only person in the car and asleep,
I just don't want to be the guinea pig. I wouldn't want to live in a city where they're just letting these cars with no one in them run free. I like that people are putting like cones on them because I guess it disrupts the navigation.
What do you mean? Like you put it on the roof or something?
Yeah, like people people protesting their being there will take like cones and put them on the hood, I think. And just it being there somehow immobilizes the vehicle. Like maybe it thinks it ran over somebody or something.
Like an ice cream cone?
No, like a traffic cone. The orange guy.
Seems like it would be a waste of a good ice cream cone.
That would be a lot of ice cream to fill one of those. Sounds good.
I'm trying to chew through that orange rubber.
Yeah. Be leaking out of the bottom. Wow. Making jokes like that at the beginning of the show. We're not even exhausted yet. We're already scraping the bottom.
Oh, boy.
All right.
Back Home in Hell. So this one's the one where, like I opened the comic book bag, I pulled this one out of my collection, my long box, and I opened the bag, and a smell came out of the bag. You know why?
Why?
Because this comic stinks.
What? You've got to be kidding me. This thing is practically a masterpiece for the Baxter series.
I think it's as good as most of the Baxter series, or a shade worse, in my opinion.
I feel like it's better than most of the LaRocque issues, and it does have an interesting story, like something interesting is going on, but
kinda.
I have some issues with it too, but
yeah. So it was reprinted here in Tales 348. What is this? Ron Friends doing the cover? Is that what we decided?
That sounds right. On closer inspection, it doesn't look nearly as cool as I remember at the Tales cover. Certainly, it pales in comparison to the Lightle cover. But I feel like maybe the composition is more iconic or something. Like that one sticks in my head better than the Lightle one, even though the Lightle one looks like it's drawn better.
Yeah. I think it is a better. Like this Lightle one's really kind of confusing, and also it doesn't have anything to do with the story. I don't know where the tree roots and stuff comes into it.
Right. Everybody's what are they? They're being eaten up by the roots, or they're dead. Superboy's arms hanging out there, and
Yeah, and the Mon-El's head it's like cracked like an egg. He's bursting out of it, and there's roots
Oh
growing out of the
yeah,
eye here. I don't know. Like this one it's obviously it's in the Phantom Zone. Like this
right.
issue, half of it takes place with these characters chasing down Mon-El in the Phantom Zone,
Mhm.
and this one over here, I don't quite know what that is. It's a symbolic of the turmoil that Mon-El's going through, or some
The
millennium.
LSD issue.
Yeah, it's like Salvador Dali, Steve Lightle. He wants to do some Dali shit. Yeah, so like I said, Steve Lightle did the cover and the artwork inside credited to Lightle as penciler, LaRocque penciling assist, and then Mike DeCarlo inks it.
I think LaRocque is actually doing the non-Mon-El pages. I think the inker is sort of blending them together, making it more congruous. I think all the like the Element Lad and the Shrinking Violet and Lightning Lass. I think those are LaRocque.
What about page one?
That's got to. Oh, I don't know. I guess I don't know.
It's weird. Like the Brainiac 5 face and the Invisible Kid face kind of look like LaRocque. Ultra Boy's face kind of looks like LaRocque, but Phantom Girl looks like Lightle.
Right.
Timberwolf looks like Lightle. I don't know. How do they do this? How do they break this up?
What the hell? Of course, Timberwolf has a Playboy bunny mug.
Oh yeah, Timberwolf, he's watching MTV and he's having like this bachelor special, like hamburger and fries with a Playboy cup. Total
What
loser.
a loser. So they're all being disrupted by like a super scream, right? This is like when Superman freaks out and screams at the end when he thinks Lois is dead, and you can hear it all over the world or whatever.
Yeah, and you don't know for the first four panels what they're reacting to until you get to the center panel of Mon-El.
Right.
Like they should have done like more of an inset thing where Mon-El is like that's the first thing you look at on the page, but it's not. It's the fifth thing you look at on the page. I wonder if like you were saying that LaRocque drew the non-Mon-El stuff. The Mon-El stuff was Lytle's idea. He's a co-plotter. He wanted to do a Mon-El comic. He came back from whatever to do this issue out of the blue. He'd been off since, I don't know what, mid-teens, I think, or something of this series.
This is the last Lightle issue.
Yeah.
Also of note on the first page, Brainiac 5 looking uncharacteristically sympathetic. I mean, it's good. He actually gives a shit every now and then.
I wonder if this is some stealth Giffen layouts like happened here and there throughout this series. It's got the 9 panels kind of. It's got the kind of unreadable theoretical stuff in the layout.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe.
I wonder if the non-Lytle stuff was ghost breakdowns by Keith Giffen.
I don't know. I feel like you're better at spotting that than I am. Like, I don't know that I see anything on page 1 that makes me think this is Giffen, but maybe.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I feel like this kind of stuff, like I think maybe this style of page where everybody's reacting to something on the page has been done before in other Levitz comics. And I don't know if it's a Levitz thing or a Giffen thing or maybe a Lytle thing. I was flipping through this and I was thinking that, like I was looking at some of these pages that are Lytle and I'm like, these have sort of the Giffen style.
Yeah.
But I think maybe Lytle just was copying Keith Giffen, like from his earliest comic work, you know?
Right.
Because I went and I looked at Doom Patrol #1, because I couldn't really think of any other comics Lytle had ever drawn, really. He did 3 issues of Doom Patrol, or 3 or 5 or 6 or something.
Yeah.
And yeah, they look kind of like these layouts, so I guess that's Lytle, you know? Even though sometimes it looks like a Giffen style of layout to me.
Page 2 doesn't seem very Giffen to me.
No, I guess not. Just the really symmetrical. It's not quite the right word. It's like 4 equal size panels across the top and then a big one at the bottom. I guess lots of people do that. So something about the Giffen stuff is in the composition within the boxes, I guess. Sometimes I notice that.
Right. I don't know that I've ever seen him draw anyone that dynamically as he has Mon-El there tearing everything up.
Back on page 1, did you see this? Can you read? Are you capable of reading Interlac? Do you know it?
Not anymore. I meant to look that up and I fucking forgot.
Lytle's big into Interlac. I think he loved putting Interlac secret messages all through his Legion comics. This says, "The Lord is my shepherd."
Whoa.
And even later in the issue, Invisible Kid has a very prominent cross necklace on. So they're telling us that Invisible Kid is a Christian. He's Christing it up in this issue.
Fucking missionaries.
Yeah, he's got the mind rot from some colonialist missionaries back 1,000 years ago, and it's stuck.
I don't remember them referring to that much, if ever, but maybe I've just blanked it.
Yeah, me too. I didn't ever think of it until I'm looking at that. And I'm like, what? And it's a weird looking poster. Like, it's all text, and the Lord part is like funky letters like layered over. Like, it's an ugly ass poster. I think whatever faith, whatever creed or color you are, this is an ugly ass poster. We can all agree on that.
Right.
But he's got it up in his place here in Legion headquarters.
I guess it reads that he would be he's kind of a goody two shoes kind of guy.
I wonder if he's still a Christian when he becomes the underground resistance
when
fighter.
He grows a pair. Yeah, maybe he lost his faith during the 5-year gap.
Right, when technology failed him, he's like, "There's no God.
This sucks."
But this is a story where turns out that the serum that Mon-El takes, so he doesn't get lead poisoning, it no longer works, or his body has now resists the serum, I guess, is how they explain it, right?
The Mon-El story in a nutshell was originally from the 20th century. Superboy mistook him for being his brother for half a second, but wanted to test to see if he really was, and he exposed him to kryptonite, or he tried to, but it didn't work. But it encased in lead? It was something like he inadvertently exposed him to lead in the process. But
yeah, I think he put some kryptonite in a lead ball, and then he was gonna open the ball? Like it must have been in lead, so it wouldn't hurt Superboy.
Right. But anyway, his only recourse was to throw him in the Phantom Zone, where he was stuck 1,000 years until Brainiac 5 came up with a lead serum that would allow him like temporary immunity, but he has to keep taking it.
He has to take the serum every 48 hours.
It's like the pharmaceutical companies. They don't want to give you a lifelong cure. It's just maintenance. Mon-El keeps having to go to Walgreens and get refills.
But he has to go straight to his pusher, Brainiac 5.
That's right.
And also it's made out of kryptonite somehow.
Right. And it's been alluded, at least in the last issue, there's like a page or two where he's talking about how he's noticing it's not working as well as it used to, and he's waiting until exactly 24 hours before he takes another one.
I didn't remember that part. I think even like, I don't know, not too long ago, I read through all this series.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I got to this issue and it was kind of out of the blue that his serum wasn't working, but maybe I just missed it because...
Yeah. It was only like one page.
You can kind of read these Baxter issues on autopilot because they're a little boring.
Mm-hmm. So he's losing his cool because it seems very likely that he's going to end up back in the Phantom Zone, the last place he ever wants to go. So he's destroying the place.
Yeah, I don't know why he's trashing the lab. Like Brainiac 5's in his, got his force field going on, and he's just watching, observing Mon-El trash the place.
Like, are you finished yet? He's kind of pouting.
Well, he's like, I'm so sorry, man. Just trash the place. Whatever makes you feel better.
Uh-huh.
Well, one thing that I thought was kind of weird is in this panel, he says, after 1,000 years, it's all coming back. Like he's still got the same lead poisoning that he had back when he was Superboy's brother, back in the 60s. Like he never got rid of that lead poison. It's like you have, he has it and just some drug is keeping it at bay. And if you take the drug away, it's going to come back and get you.
Yeah, like there's a lot of viral diseases that just lay dormant in your body, like chickenpox / shingles. Well, and there's lots of maintenance medications that stop people from trembling and every otother thing. And if they stop taking it, it comes back. So,
I guess I thought that he was always getting new lead poisoning.
Oh.
Yeah, I guess I always thought that when he came out of the Phantom Zone, he's taking the serum to stave off the potential for lead poisoning. Right. And that's not really what this is saying. This is saying that he's got it and he needs this serum to suppress it.
Right.
Is that what you thought? Did you think the whole time that it was a preventative measure to keep him from getting lead poisoning instead of a drug to keep his sickness from killing him?
I thought it was it's a maintenance drug. Like, it's not a true cure, but he'd have to just keep taking. I don't know that that's how I interpreted it when he was first given the cure, like back in the 60s or whenever it was first given to him.
Oh,
but even like in issue 300 of Adventure, then they gave him something and he was able to get out and help them fight the Lex Luthor robot or whoever it was, and but he had to go back.
Yeah, as I recall, Saturn Girl invented something that had let him come out for 24 hours at a time,
right?
And then he had to go back or something like that,
right?
And then Brainiac 5 did something where he can be out permanently, but he's got to keep taking it. He's got to be hooked.
But I don't know how often it was mentioned in the interim. Remember if it came up ever?
I mean, why would it? Like the people's medication, that's their own business, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to talk about it. Like, hey, like once a week, I'm like, how's your heart medication doing, Dan?
Right.
Or how's your liver medication doing?
Right.
Because of your drinking problem that you used to have. Like, I don't mention that every day, every week when I talk to you,
Just every other week, and I appreciate it.
Yeah. And you don't ask me about the ED medicine that I take. That I used to take. I don't need it no more.
Different lead in your pencil.
What?
So Shadowlass comes and calms him down. I kind of like, this is like one of the first indications I see of them having a more like adult relationship, like her calming him down and then in the next page telling everyone to stop just standing there like idiots and go get him his medicine. It just seems like less of a teenage romance, more of a, I don't know.
They're probably 40 by this point in history.
Well, he's like 1,000 something.
Yeah, she's like, go get the fucking Phantom Zone projector.
Right.
Stop
Get his
gawking.
insulin. Like, she's probably used to dealing with this. Like, she's probably had to, I know they're getting the Phantom Zone projector in this case, but she probably has had to come home and found him passed out on the floor and had to give him the medication like insulin or something every now and then.
Oh, right. Yeah, she has to go down in the basement bowels of the headquarters where they keep the medicine.
So, yeah, they were definitely bringing it up from time to time that he was still having to take the medication.
If it wasn't part of the plot, he could be out in space for 20 years,
right,
without taking the pill, and it would be fine.
Doesn't he keep some in his utility belt?
Probably, if he has a utility belt.
I think maybe that was in the issue as needed.
But he says he'd rather die than go into the Phantom Zone, and he's screaming and flying away, and he tries to fly through the polymer shield around the Earth that they used to
block the global warming.
Yeah, control the weather and keep the radiation out. Does that mean there's no like regular atmosphere anymore? So they put up the polymer shield. Is that the idea? I thought it was just to control the weather, like as a kid when I was reading these. But is it because
I thought it was some sort of defensive thing? But a polymer doesn't sound all that strong. But maybe to keep it's like build the wall. They built the wall around the planet.
Yeah. Well, and evidently Mon-El, he's supposed to be weakened here. But still strong enough to fly and smash the clubhouse. But he can't break through the polymer shield.
So it's pretty strong.
Pretty strong. It's probably like, I don't know, 20 feet thick plastic. The hell, plastic.
Bad idea, guys.
But they put him right in the Phantom Zone, I guess.
So we cut to Rimbor.
Yeah, a little solo adventure of Lightning Lass and Shrinking Violet on Rimbor. What are they doing? They're going to they go to the Star Wars Cantina on Rimbor.
Right, that's what I was going to say. What do they call that? The hive of scum and villainy, or I don't remember what it was, but
that's the Mos Eisley spaceport, is a wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Right.
I wonder if this is the same Star Wars Cantina that Ultra Boy was at in that Jim Starlin one. Like, it begins with him going to meet Lady of the Night, Anne Rand. In there. Ayn Rand. She's like in there writing a chapter of The Fountainhead, and he's like, "Hey, baby, you looking fine."
Mm-hmm. like we need to get rid of all these state protections like Social Security that I'll be relying on later in life.
Yeah, but I think also Older Boy wanted to he wanted her to polish his fountainhead.
Right. I thought you were going to say something about his penetra vision, but
Oh no,
his penetra penis.
here's that eyeball alien that Giffen likes to draw, and there's also a weird trench coat dude. This is outside the space, outside their bar on their bar. I'm not sure what's going on. And the Spider-Man makes a little appearance here, cameo appearance.
What? Spider-Man, what are you still doing alive?
But Shrinking Violet, she's now a tough as nails interrogator. She's not meek. She's no longer a Shrinking Violet. She's the opposite of a Shrinking Violet. And she roughs up this bartender to get some information. She's looking for the Persuader,
formerly of the Fatal Five.
The Persuader, he has an atomic axe that can break atomic bonds. Wouldn't there be nuclear?
I thought you said atomic
explosion?
ass.
Atomic axe.
Right. You can cut through gravity and stuff like that. Like you can cut through space-time, maybe. Definitely gravity. He could cut through gravity. I remember.
If he could cut through the fabric of time and space, he could go to other dimensions and stuff like that. I don't think he can do that. I thought he could cut anything. Like you give him a glass of water, and he'll swing his axe through the glass of water, and you're going to have a bunch of hydrogen and oxygen after he's done with it.
Whoa, that's pretty awesome. But can he split an atom?
I don't know. That's what I was thinking. Like, if you do that, that could dangerous.
Be problematic.
Yeah, he wouldn't really survive. Maybe that's why he wears a helmet.
Wait, is it the atomic axe?
That's what it's called.
Well, then there you go. Right.
Yeah, cuts it to atoms. That could be an exaggeration.
I swear he can cut through gravity. I'm not making that shit up.
All right. I mean, I believe you.
I'm not saying it makes any sense, but
he could probably cut a white dwarf star in half.
Remember, like he'd take a swipe at someone and they'd start falling up. Be like weird shit happening like that.
Oh, that's weird. That's kind of an interesting idea. Yeah, is this a follow-up? Did you read the previous issue, or have we been following these two trying to track down the Persuader for a while?
It's surely leading to something coming up.
They got a new Fatal Five coming up in a few issues. I think he even mentions it in the letters page.
Getting the gang back together.
Not the original lineup. There's some new faces. I think this is a Fatal Five that has Persuader, Emerald Empress, and then the other three guys are out. No Mano, no LaRocque, no Validus.
Sounds weak. Like when they made like the new Monkeys or something.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't have the original lineup.
Well, it's like when they reboot a TV series, but the other people, they have real careers now. The original people, they can't come back, so they have to get some lookalikes.
Right. They've kind of promoted Emerald Empress to leader, and I think she pretty much stays the leader from here out.
Yeah, well, they must have killed LaRocque or something, right?
Yeah, they did. But I think he eventually comes back, but he's still not the leader. I don't know how they work that out.
Too bad. How the mighty have fallen. See, this looks like a Giffen page with the tall, skinny establishing shot and then 12 panels beside it.
Yep. Sun Boy with his glorious mullet. It doesn't look like the way LaRocque draws him at all. I don't think he...
This is kind of a neat page, kind of a wordless thing. It's kind of neat where it's the point of view of Mon-El in phantom form snooping around Legion headquarters to go spy on his girlfriend. And then I guess he floats over to the multi-lab.
The little touch that I really like in this is Brainiac 5 has got his shirt is open and his sleeves are rolled up. Like it gives you the sense that he's been up for several days working. He's been at it a while.
I would think that he gets so distracted. Like they always have him like, he forgets to eat and he poops his pants and stuff like that. Why does he think to undo his shirt?
Because he's hot?
Yeah, but he also is hungry and doesn't eat. He also has to go to the bathroom, but he pees in his pants.
He doesn't have to do that. He built Computo. Computo comes and he just shits in him.
He has a little hose that snaps over the end of his wiener.
Right.
Sucks up the mess.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you got me. He could just turn on the air conditioning and he wouldn't get hot and have to undo his shirt.
Theatrics of it. It's like it's a signifier.
Right. I get it. They need to have like a little blonde 5 o'clock
Right,
shadow
and
on
some
him too.
stubble, couple hairs out of place.
Anyway, the Element Lad and Brainiac 5 are they've got some kind of portal Phantom Zone viewer, and they're hoping Mon-El will come and talk to them. And he does, but he tells them off. He's like, fuck you, leave me in here. He's like, promises.
You know, I think maybe part of the reason he's being so petulant, I mean, some of it could be, obviously, a lot of it is because he's really stressed out and he thinks he's about to die or he wants to die, but the lead poisoning might be affecting his mind a little bit too. Doesn't necessarily have to be Eltrogand.
Yeah, I guess that's true. They've never indicated that lead poisoning makes you lose your mind, but probably does.
They most
They're having it for a
definitely
long
have.
time. Oh, really?
Haven't you read about that? Lead poison, like exposure to lead?
Oh, no, I meant lead poisoning for Mon-El.
All right, but maybe it's similar. I don't know. All the paint chips you were sucking on growing up, they're sweet. Apparently they are, or were. That's why, like, small children would put them in their mouths.
Oh.
Because they have a sweet taste.
I got some lead paint in my house. Maybe I'll try it someday.
Go lick it. Probably improve this podcast.
Anything would improve it. This bottom half of this page is, it's got some special inking process.
Yeah.
I think this is all solo Lightle on some kind of pebble board, and it's like some kind of zipatone probably. I don't know if this is all pattern film or if it's a pebble board art surface.
Yeah.
But I think the head in the middle is inked by DeCarlo, and then this stuff around here is a little bit of specialty work that Lightle did himself.
Looks really good.
Yeah. The crying Mon-El. He still couldn't pull it off. Even as good as Lightle is, he can't pull off the crying.
Right.
Too good.
So hard. Draw good tears.
Even from a distance, it looks like you can see the little disc that holds Mon-El's cape on.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like it doesn't have any shading on it, so it's white. It almost looks like it's attached to one of those stringy tears coming out of his head, like his eyeball came out or something. That's what it looks like.
Naked people too.
Yeah.
Some of that.
I guess when Darkseid started trying to take over Daxam, he stripped everybody.
Oh, you think that's on Daxam?
Well, I think that's what happened. Like, there's Darkseid here. Well, he turned him into an army of mindless superhumans, but then didn't a bunch of them die too?
Yeah, but I thought this is him watching it from the Phantom Zone, right?
Oh, I guess so, but
he's talking about all the things he sort of had to experience secondhand in the Phantom Zone.
Oh, right. Yeah, he experienced the Great Darkness Saga firsthand, didn't he?
Right.
I thought it was just a flashback to some atrocities in Great Darkness Saga. He's
seeing all this the evil Darkseid is doing to people, and he's powerless to intervene.
Oh yeah, and he sees Superboy watching TV instead of trying to get
helping him. Like, what the fuck, dude?
I don't know why does he still like Superboy so much.
And Superman there is like, dude, it's been a while. When are you gonna let me out?
He's like, what do I have to be in here 1,000 years? Come on, dude. Yeah, he's ready to just die.
Right.
He doesn't know how he's going to do it, but he's going to die. He's going to make himself die.
Yeah, and it's weird. It's like his phantom form is expanding. Like he's standing over the city, and then he's like encompassing like the sun.
Yeah. I think they kind of explain that a little bit later. How to save a phantom from himself. That's Brainy's conundrum at the end of this page.
Right.
Before they cut to the Time Institute, where the very snazzily dressed Cosmic Boy and Night Girl are getting ready to go on vacation back to the past.
This is so bad. He says even here, like he's a historian and a fan of the century. So what are they wearing to go back to 1986? You know,
mm-hmm.
Wearing like some weird spandex.
Well, and they never wear that shit in the Legion comics. You know,
they have bad history books. There's some mistakes in there.
I mean, Night Girl's like she's got a turtleneck and shoulder pads. That's kind of 80s.
Yeah.
But also like the gold pantyhose, like nobody wears those.
This must be like his signature pants though, because they have like the circles on them, the kind of Cosmic Boy symbols.
Right, yeah. It's like maybe he has his own fashion line with like the 4 dots.
Maybe it's the equivalent of like having your initials on your bathrobe.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So Timberwolf doesn't try to take your pants or something. And then the luggage carrier, it looks like in the future they found some way to make cats useful. It's like a cat in like some kind of exosuit.
That's so cool. Yeah, I love it. But it's not even a cat. It's like a holograph cat or a hologram cat.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he's actually in there. Do they show another view of him? Like he's right here.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a surprint. So it's hard to tell if he's like an energy being cat or if we're just supposed to be seeing him through some kind of colored glass or something.
Right, and he's lit up. I'm telling you, that's what they're going to invent in the future. You'll be able to put all those damn cats you have in there and get them to clean your house
and carry my luggage. Fine.
Yeah, and they've got to carry all these bags, and they're all shadowlasses, not shadowlasses, night girls.
Yeah, they all have her little owl insignia.
Cosmic Boy has one suitcase, but she has to bring like 15 luggage bags.
Typical woman.
Some things never change.
Oh, I bet this cat, he's like, it's a living. I think this cat, you know those the Boston Dynamics robotic assassin dog, that you see on viral videos sometimes. They have this marching gait, and it's like a robot dog that can.
Is that the one the cops are trying to?
Yeah. Sometimes there's these rumors that the police are going to start using them to go into places that regular people can't get into, and they put cameras on them. They used it on last episode of Expedition Bigfoot the other day too. But yeah, like there's always this shit where it's like, the police are using them. This is how you disable them. You have to get underneath and break the command pot and pull the battery out and stuff like that. I think this cat thing must be the answer to that. The benevolent response to the killer AI robot dog. This is a cat who's actually good for something and isn't killing you, and it's chill.
Right.
Whereas a dog is stupid and blindly obedient and bites your throat out. Right.
I mean, it could be that. Well, I kind of prefer the cat in the exosuit theory. Like, there's lots of, what is it? Like that weird, like it's in a lot of Japanese youth culture where they have like robots that look like cute cats. And like maybe it's just, that's the thing in the future, having the screen with a cute cat's head on the robot.
Yeah.
To make it seem more alive. I don't know.
Right. It probably purrs. It probably has like a comforting purr sound that it makes. Maybe it's warm to the touch and you can have it lay in the bed beside you.
These are really old now, though I'm sure there's some newer version of them, like Giga Pets.
Tamagotchi.
Right.
Yeah, it's just like the giant version of that. Like you have to feed this or it'll die.
Right.
You feed it bits and bytes or something stupid. Anyway, this vacation that they're going on, this leads into the Cosmic Boy miniseries.
Yeah. Was it like a backdoor pilot?
I guess so. I was flipping through my box there because in the letters page of this issue, somebody's talking about the Legionnaires 3 miniseries. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. Issue 23 leads right into Cosmic Boy miniseries. How did issue 18 spin out of Legionnaires 3 miniseries? Or why are they still talking about them? Because they must have been like 2 years apart. They're not. They were both published in the same year. It's almost as if there's a whole like companion Legion comic coming out in 1986, that's by Levitz, Giffen, and Cologne. They did 8 issues of comics alongside the regular Legion title this year.
Legionnaires 3 was first, right? Or
right.
Because I think doesn't it end with like to be continued in Cosmic Boy or something like that?
Oh, do they really say that? Like they call out there's going to be a Cosmic Boy miniseries? I didn't
think
remember
so.
that.
But you're right. They were ahead of their time. They realized the way to go is just to restart the series and rename it every few issues.
Series and miniseries like they were doing
new number one
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, this is kind of goofy because it immediately, of course, the Legion shows up and where do they have to go? More or less the same place that Cosmic Boy just left. Went to, give or take 20 years.
Yeah. And they just missed Cosmic Boy. They could have almost hitched a ride with him or something.
Right.
The Legion will show up and they're intent on getting a time bubble to go back to the days of ancient Smallville and Superboy. I don't think Cosmic Boy says precisely where those two are going. We know that they're just going to the modern hour. What the hell? They're going to 1986, 20th century.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any real explanation for why they happen to pick the time that is the present.
Yeah.
Usually there's sort of a logical in-universe reason, like they keep going to 1955 or whatever it is because that's when Superboy is 16. But why would he go? Does he know Superman? Does he? What's the rationale for picking 1986? The same rationale that the Star Trek guys always. Hey, it's 1965 on Earth.
That's where Cosmic Boy's going. These guys are going to 1935. I don't know when the hell Superboy is supposed to be around. 55, 56.
Yeah, maybe like 66? No, it would be even later than that, maybe 1970?
Could be.
Because it's 1986, right? And his timeline keeps moving, right?
Yeah, so it would have been like 20 years prior to that. Yeah, right. Like you said, huh? You said that already. So that's what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's the cat again.
His final appearance in Legion comic, the cat bot guy. They should have given him a flight ring and made him a hero, dude. Or super pets.
This thing is probably really going to happen.
What's going on?
I could totally see like a robot with like a that they just project like a cat meme face on it.
I'm thinking it's going to be like my dead cat. Like, like I had him alive and then he passed away, but now his visage and everything is on a thumb drive, and it's in this robot. You plug it into a robot and you can see his face and you hear him purr, hear him meow.
It's fucking alarming.
And also tell him to clean the house.
I bet something like that will exist, but they won't really know how to do any of that shit. They'll just, since all cats are more or less the same, they'll just have like a stereotypical cat behavior programmed in.
Yeah.
It'll be close enough that you can convince yourself that it's your cat. His soul is in there.
His soul, yeah.
You think it shits on the floor? So you've got all these robots shitting in your studio all the time?
Jesus Christ. Do you remember the robot on Conan O'Brien from way back? What was his name? I can't remember. It was this robot who would come out. And it was like a guy in a suit, and like a stupid suit made out of like chimney pipes and stuff, And he would take a dump. He'd come out and take a shit, and he had a toilet. And he'd sit on the toilet. And the sound of the poop coming out would be like if you're dropping like nuts and bolts into a metal bucket, It's like clunk, 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 clunk.
That's awesome. That's
so
awesome.
Stupid. And he had this like silly high pitch like voice. That was a funny show back then.
Yeah, man. I miss that.
Anyway, now the plan is to go into the Phantom Zone and get Mon-El bodily,
right,
or as bodily as you can get a Phantom, because they need him to be close by Earth and the clubhouse to do whatever they're going to do.
So he can come through the portal, I guess.
Yeah. What I think is dumb about this issue is that, like, they put him in the Phantom Zone, but there's no spectacle of him going into the Phantom Zone. It's like he gets knocked out, and then Don Star's like, we're going to put him in the Phantom Zone. Cut to someplace else for a little bit, and then the next thing you know, he's flying around in the Phantom Zone. Like, isn't it, like, visually, isn't it kind of cool when they, like, shoot the Phantom Zone projector at somebody and it puts him in there and stuff? Like, how come you didn't do that?
There are a couple places in this issue where they kind of jump over things you would think they would show.
Mm-hmm.
Later, like, Superboy shows up, but he's very much in the background, even though he plays a very pivotal role in it. It's kind of strange.
Yeah, there's a lot of unexplained gaps in this comic. It makes it seem not wholly finished.
Right.
But they're going to send Phantom Girl and Tellus, because Tellus still has telekinesis in the Phantom Zone, and he can read minds.
They're actually only sending him because she can just go there through her powers, which is pretty cool.
One time we were talking about how they were teasing in Phantom Girl's early appearances that she was actually from the Phantom Zone.
Right.
But like before they invented Big Zittle.
Well, Big Zittle might still be there. I don't know. I mean, if you think about it logically, like, this place wasn't invented by Jor-El or whatever. It's just a place he found. So we're just throwing all like our worst criminals there. That would be a great story, right? Like this whole universe is fed up with this because all the scum and villainy from Krypton just got sent there. It's like like the Aborigines being stuck with all the European criminals.
Prisoners. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly what I was thinking. It's the same thing. Yeah, or like throwing your plastic garbage out in space, you know?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it would be a billion years before that space garbage landed on another planet, but they'd be like,
Or
what the
just
fuck is this?
paying
Somebody else's trash.
poor countries to just take it all, with the people having no say in it. Another little detail I really like, but they go into it more later, is we see Dream Girl using her science abilities to help Brainiac 5.
Oh, right, yeah. The second smartest Legionnaire.
That's right. That's right.
Tellus gets in the Phantom Zone, and he loves it. And he
Mhm.
strips naked. Here's his helmet floating in the zone.
Oh,
He doesn't have
yeah.
his helmet on.
I completely missed that.
But he's like, why didn't you tell me it was so great in the Phantom Zone? And you know this is a Steve Lightle comic because Tellus, you see his whole body, and he actually does something in it.
Right.
Because Lightle, he created him, I guess.
Right.
And he looks totally different. Nobody else ever really drew Tellus. Sometimes he looks like just like a guy, human guy with weird arms, like elephant limbs or something.
Mm-hmm.
Lightle knew the model. He drew him just right. And so the next page, the panel layout gets a little spacey, a little fluid because they're in the Phantom Zone. Oh, but yeah, they have to use his Tellus's ESP or whatever to find Mon-El because he just flew so far away from Earth.
But distance is different there. Like the dimensions are different.
Like you can be a billion miles from Earth, but also you can find a guy
within reach.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Here's some of that Pat Broderick.
Oh yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen this before, but it looks cool. Did this ever happen?
Yeah, this came out. I've never really seen him either. Like once in a while, I'll see one in a bargain, but I've never tried to read it or anything. But
maybe I'll check it out and let you know.
Yeah,
this looks cool. The backgrounds, all the people in the backgrounds look really good. They look kind of like Mobius drawings.
Yes, it must be solo Pat Broderick art job on this.
Mm-hmm. Did Doug Minch do the what is the Garcia Lopez series, like Atomic Knights or
Twilight?
Some sort of Camelot something?
Oh no, Camelot 3000 was Mike Barr and Brian Bolland.
Oh, he was way out there.
Twilight is Howard Chaykin and Garcia Lopez.
I was looking at a lot of him yesterday. He did a lot of Jonah Hex.
Garcia Lopez did? Oh yeah, the early ones, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking of this Jonah Hex, and he didn't do any of that stuff.
I went, because of the little crossover, I went and looked at that issue. And then I started scrolling through all that. And then I went to the previous series and started going through all that online.
Yeah, he did a bunch.
Gray Morrow did at least the last issue. Then I ended up going, there was another series like in the aughts that I totally missed, but it had a lot of good artists on it.
Yeah, they kind of rotated them out every couple of issues.
Mm-hmm. Darwin Cook did one.
There's a bunch of them by Jordy Burnett. Like I collect those. I think I probably have all of them, but he's super good. I love looking at that guy's artwork. I think maybe Garcia Lopez even did. Well, I don't know if he did that. There was a like that was going, and then they did the New 52 or the Rebirth or some shit like that, and they they canceled the Jonah Hex book, but then turned it into like All-Star Western or something that was like a split book where it was like Hex on half and Cinnamon or something like that girl gunfighter in the other half.
That's a weird pairing.
Well, they're both Western, I think. Like they weren't. But also, I think the Hex part, he's in fucking Gotham City in the 30s or something moronic like that. I don't even know. But I think some of that, I think maybe the Cinnamon, or maybe there's another backup story. Garcia Lopez drew some of that.
Anyway, we'll get to that in a page.
But yeah, here's those three Legionnaires going back to Smallville, and they're in the time stream looking different than it ever has before. It's so tumultuous in there.
Looking very, very symmetrical, though. Very, very controlled.
It's tumultuous, but yeah, we had to draw with a compass. It's
right.
Doing the best we can for the tumult.
There's some weird incongruities in the story here. Like Dawnstar is like, look, there are so many bits of our past visible. It is awesome. But I'm expecting to see like them resurrecting Lightning Lad or big scenes like that, or a caveman at least, like forming a tool or something, but I don't really see anything evoking their history here.
Nope.
But there is this mysterious golden guy. Do you have any idea what the heck he is?
No, I don't. I thought like maybe this is some Legion bad guy or something, but I just don't know.
It seems like it'd be like a precursor of something to come. Like, is this someone they're going to be fighting in 10 issues?
But yeah, none of it makes any sense, or it's all really nondescript. Like
a giant chocolate bar starts flying towards them.
Yeah, but like in the grid of all the things that have happened in the past, there's like this kind of generic spaceman. There's some weird looking aliens, a panel of just some planets, the gold guy, some extreme close-ups of Legionnaires, and then a bunch of buildings. There's the time beacon, I don't recognize any of the others. So yeah, and also actually there's these two at the top that are kind of mysterious with a little robot and some kind of glowing deal. I don't know if it's supposed to be this
or something.
Same guy down here. But yeah, none of it is anything we've ever seen before. This is definitely a Greg LaRocque page here.
Mm-hmm.
And their time bubble looks kind of interesting. It has this kind of smile on it. Like it looks like that thing from Heavy Metal, the movie.
Oh, yeah. I hadn't seen that.
I'm not sure what that is. If it's like a glare type of effect is what it's supposed to be.
Or the bottom. Because
Yeah, you see this one has the bottom where like the bottom third of it is shiny and the top is a glow, but this doesn't really look like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, what is this chocolate bar that hits him?
I don't know, but he has to destroy it.
He destroys it and simultaneously punches a hole in the time bubble. I bet that's going to cause him some troubles later.
Yeah, seemed like a good idea.
But they do successfully get to Smallville.
I like the idea he tells Shadowlass to cover it up with Shadow, like to use of her power, like maybe she can just cover it up and it'll stay covered up even after she leaves.
Yeah, I don't understand her power sometimes. Like, is it like an actual like I don't know, like a black mist or something that she generates, or sometimes it's like that. Sometimes it's just like everything's dark. I guess she can expand the field of darkness or something. I don't know.
Right. Like, is it something that only exists if she pays attention and concentrates on it? Or is she making something that will just exist independent of her for a little while before it evaporates?
Like, what if you're out in the woods of Smallville and you just come across this blob of infinite blackness shadow.
Right.
And no one else is around. Like, what the fuck?
Right.
This is like in the UFO books, you know. Call up Jack Webb and Project Blue Book. Get to the bottom of this.
They also make this annoying, probably just to serve the story. I don't know if I've read about this before, but suddenly Dawnstar's powers are no good at tracking on world.
Yeah, they're not as good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like she can still do it, but better in space. Like she needs the infinity of space or lack of atmosphere, maybe. Maybe atmosphere inhibits her powers, or it just smells too bad, and she uses her sense of smell for.
Seems like a huge liability.
Yeah, all of a sudden,
to her powers
not so good anymore. Kind of a useless.
Oh, I can narrow it down to this planet. After that, you're on your own.
Well, as long as they've got some penetravision, you don't need, you know.
Yeah, but if you're like hunting down one guy, oh, he's on Earth, but then there's like billions of people here.
Yeah, like Superboy, he can. Like use his microscopic vision and look at the DNA of every person on a planet in like 20 seconds and find them. That's how powerful that son of a bitch is.
Damn.
Or look at X-ray vision, look at their skeleton.
That's some Silver Age shit right there.
Is a skeleton as distinctive and unique as a fingerprint?
I don't
Probably.
think so. Maybe.
Nobody has the same skeleton as somebody else, right?
Has anyone in the history of man asked that question? I guess somebody must have. Some scientists.
Somebody must have. But yeah, I think Superboy could be like, I see that skeleton, or I see that guy's fingerprints are right there because I've memorized the fingerprint data bank of the Legion superheroes.
Just casually giving everyone cancer, bombarding them with X-rays.
Yeah, and Dawnstar, while he's doing that, can just go pop open a cold one or whatever.
So yeah, we go back to the ladies returning from their fact-finding mission.
Yeah, what is the purpose of this page? They're just flying back, and they're kind of explaining what the other guys are doing, huh? About going back to the 20th century to get Superboy.
Yeah, none of it makes any sense. For some reason, then what is it? Violet's whining about Superboy. Like, why are we even bringing this guy back? Is there any point to it? Their entire exchange makes no sense to me. Like, I don't get the humor or the cleverness of their back and forth here at all.
They're talking to the hologram of Magnetic Kid. He tells them the plan. Shrinking Violet is skeptical about the usefulness of Superboy in this situation.
Mm-hmm.
And then Lightning Lass, she says maybe he'll be able to talk Mon-El into waiting in the part of the Phantom Zone nearest Earth until Brainiac finds a cure. We know that. That's obviously what they want.
Yeah, that's a logical theory, right?
Right. But she says, or am I being silly? Listen to yourself and you'll know the answer, is Shrinking Violet's response.
But it doesn't sound that dumb.
Well, it doesn't make any sense
plausible.
either. Yeah. Is that a turn of phrase meaning you sound crazy when you're saying that? Is that what she's trying to say? This whole page is kind of nonsense and a waste of space.
Right.
I get that maybe the writer wanted to check in on these two characters and explain how they got back to Earth and what they were doing, but this page doesn't really serve as good exposition for the events of the time travel subplot where they go to Smallville. They could have put that on one of these pages.
Except maybe it's possibly alluding to them starting to have a relationship, I guess.
Possibly, but I don't think these two really have a relationship ever until the Giffen and Beerbaum series.
Okay.
I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure there's no implication really. Maybe they're buddies, or they put them on like a mission together just because whatever, you got sort of useless powers in Shrinking Violet and powerful powers in Lightning Lass, so you put them together.
Right.
And Lightning Lass is now like not attached to Timberwolf, so she doesn't want to always be on missions with him. Maybe that's why.
I feel like there have been a few scenes though that are suggestive. Like Shrinking Violet says something like, "A lot of things have changed about me. How about you?" And didn't we cover that recently?
Maybe. I don't remember either. I do know that eventually, maybe it's when Giffen comes back, there's sort of a flirtation between Lightning Lass and Magnetic Kid.
Oh, right. But I thought he looked up to them. Maybe I was just being naive because he's the young kid.
Yeah, he's the young kid and she's like fucking around with him.
Oh, right.
Like she like walks up and whatever, she sticks her tongue in his ear and he's like, "Oh, this upperclassman is doing this to me," like that.
Right.
And she's like, "You're so naive. You want this," or whatever.
Jeez. It's almost as if the person who writes it doesn't have any understanding of women, or maybe a low opinion of them.
Maybe. Or doesn't know how relationships work.
Right.
But maybe these guys don't either. They're just teenagers, these Legionnaires.
Mm-hmm. So we have a little callback to the Mordru issue where they all went back to Smallville.
Yeah.
Because Shadowlass remembers there's a secret doorway on the ground that for some reason they go out of their way not to ever show.
They don't show them opening it, huh?
No. It's like out of frame.
But LaRocque does, or somebody makes a joke that it takes three of them to open this thing. First, Shadowlass is trying to open the thing and struggling.
Oh, yeah.
And then the next panel, it's like a cut, and now you see a close up of Element Lad's like shoulders and Shadowlass struggling, and then Dawnstar, the third person, finally moves over, and they're all opening this thing.
Yeah, you're right. That's kind of well done.
I mean, it's a way of showing it without showing it, I guess.
Yeah,
but they all have like the little wavy lines around their bodies, like they're really struggling to open this thing, because I guess that you need Superboy strength to open this door in the ground. And Dawnstar has it, I think. Does she have super strength? She has some ability to not be destroyed flying through space at high speeds and stuff like that.
You think Dawnstar is holding onto it and flapping her wings to try to get some lift?
Oh, yeah, probably. Getting some of that stellar winds under her wings.
Mm-hmm.
But she's trying to fly down the passageway when they finally get underground. And Superboy grabs her. Now, how does this work? Does this go into like Clark Kent's bedroom, or does it go into the basement of the Kent's house? Or is there still another, like, does Superboy have a secret room beneath the Kent basement with his laboratory and his robots and stuff in it, and all the girls he's loved?
He has some kind of lab set up, I think, underneath the house, like a sub basement.
Like call that like a goon chamber or something like that? Is that what they call that?
I don't know. I always thought it'd be cool to have one.
This is what Superboy has.
Right. I was just reading a Goosebumps book to my son, and this guy has a basement in his basement. His basement has a basement.
Mm-hmm.
It was like stories like that. In the old G.I. Joe comic, they have like, it's like a skyscraper inverted, like it's underground. It's like a little gas station on top, but the hydraulic lift just goes down and down and down. It's like limitless floors.
Yeah, that sounds cool. They have that in all the like the UFO movies and stuff. There's all these military bases that are way underground and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What are they? They're calling MUDs, I think. No,
Call
domes. Domes.
Dumbs.
Deep underground military base or something like that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool. He explores it further later on, like the lift breaks and it smashes through the floor, and there's further floors underneath that they didn't know about that like the military used in the 50s and
that's in G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like this weird Roswell kind of stuff under there.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
That stuff's real.
I know. Psychics that talk to cats and all kinds of things out there. Yeah, you can tell LaRocque's drawing this page because Superboy looks grotesque. He just has that weird horse face on the bottom.
Yeah, LaRocque draws people a little strange sometimes. I like this rear 3/4 of Shadowless. I think that looks really good.
Yeah. Superboy looks like that guy who played Maniac Cop. I forget that guy's name. Czar or something.
Oh, Robert Zadar. Yeah.
Zadar. Yeah.
That dude was weird looking.
He was.
All right, now we're back in the Phantom Zone. This is the shit we came for.
Back to the weird, chaotic, upside down panels. So he's continuing to look for a way to end it for himself. He seems to think maybe he can somehow diffuse himself, I guess.
Yeah, he's like, a phantom can dissolve, spread apart into so many atoms like a mist. Where do I do that? But yeah, I guess that this ties into that earlier page when he gets his big.
Why he's getting
bigger than the city and bigger than the sun. He can get so sense. Fucking big that he'll die.
And he, of course, refuses to go back. So Tellus uses his telekinetic powers because they're mind powers. They still work in this world of the mind.
It's a world of the mind. The Phantom Zone seems a world of the mind, Mon-El. I think that's the beginning of another one of those weird gaps where they leave out a lot of what happens between Tellus getting him in a force field and then now Mon-El's back inside Legion headquarters. Next thing you know,
think like this page is the reason for all these weird gaps? Like, do you think this page was mandated because of Crisis or something?
The Hex page?
Right. I mean, it seems completely out of place. Completely unnecessary. They were like, Hex is hurting. This is the second best-selling book DC has, evidently, according to the letters page. Like, let's do a little crossover to get Hex some attention. It doesn't serve the story at all, but it takes up an awful lot of space. Like, you'd see in Marvel comics, one panel of like Spider-Man swinging by in the back of a Daredevil comic or something, but it wouldn't take up, I guess maybe it's one page.
Yeah, I mean, this page is sort of necessary to the story of getting the Legionnaires and Superboy back to the 30th century. But yeah, this thing where Mad Max is driving on his motorcycle and just out of the corner of his eye, he sees a time bubble show up and then disappear again. Yeah, doesn't make any sense.
And in the Hex issue, it's just basically the same thing.
I got the Hex issue. Let's see.
You would think at least there'd be something happening here, like some fallout from their traveling that would somehow affect his story or have some value other than just seeing a strange sight.
Yeah, it's really strange. It doesn't make any sense. Like, it's such a small appearance that it's not gonna Legion of Superhero reader may or may not go get that Hex comic, and vice versa with a Hex reader. But they're near the Crisis on Infinite Earths thing, so maybe they're just trying to I don't know, they're trying to show the distinction between the time periods between these two characters or two titles or something. But they don't really do much of a job of that either.
Mention the year they're in, do they?
No, I don't think so. Well, he mentions that Hex mentions that he wishes he was back in the 19th century.
Yeah, I saw that Giffen drew the last 3 or 4 of those.
One of them looks really good.
They all look pretty good to me, but there's that one that doesn't have any like gutters. That one looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
The rest of it is pretty lackluster, even though Textra drew a bunch of them. But the very first one, he inks himself, and it looks amazing. Maybe it's because it's a old West comic or something. It's hatchier. You should just look it up.
Yeah.
And then at least compare it to like the second issue. It's like night and day.
Oh, yeah. Is the first issue, the early issues, they're still in the West, right? Or is that the whole series in the future?
The whole thing's in the future.
Right.
The Gray Morrow last issue of Jonah Hex, like in the very last panel, he just disappears. The first page of this one, he appears in the future.
Because the earlier title was called Jonah Hex, and the new title is just called Hex. It looks futuristic and crazy.
Yeah, it feels like something that they would have done mid-series to try to save the book. But apparently they started the book over.
Sounds lame. Yeah, so that was pointless. Superboy pops into the multi-lab.
Brainiac's looking pretty tired. Now he's got both sleeves rolled up and his shirt open.
Mm-hmm. When's he just going to take that shirt off and just be in his white undershirt?
I want to hear like one of the Legionnaires point out that he smells like he needs to go take a bath. Yeah, he stinks.
Because he pees in his pants.
Right.
Now, this is a page that looks like half Lightle and half LaRocque. But you know what? I think the whole thing is LaRocque.
No. On the left or the right?
Yeah. This page, where Superboy shows up. Like, this is a LaRocque Superboy.
No, because that's a Lightle Superboy.
You think that's a Lightle Superboy? Maybe it's a Mike DeCarlo face.
Oh, I was looking in the middle. I was looking at the very next panel.
This one.
Right, because Lightle was pretty good at drawing him looking like a kid.
Yeah, you're right.
Angular face. Whereas LaRocque gives him that big boxy, big jawed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're probably right about the top panel. That almost looks like a Jack Kirby Superman.
Yeah.
On the top.
Like LaRocque gets into, becomes a Kirby clone sometimes a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Like maybe LaRocque did the top and
for some reason Lightle just drew this strip.
Right.
And maybe the Brainiac 5 face.
He used a lot of strips like that in his issues, didn't he? So that kind of one of his.
Yeah, I think so. Like kind of an inset thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's weird that why would they both work on one page, you know?
Lightle probably wasn't done.
Yeah, I don't know. And even on this page too, this one with the grid.
Mm-hmm.
Dream Girl looks like a Lightle drawing.
Mm-hmm.
These two bad ones, a Brainiac 5, where his forehead's on wrong. They kind of look like LaRocque, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it looks... That whole page looks more LaRocque-ish to me, but maybe it's some Lightle in there.
Yeah, maybe it's just some breakdowns that DeCarlo just kind of finished or something. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This is a weird mishmash of artwork. I don't get who did it.
I don't think it's too incongruous, though. Maybe because the same inker did all of it.
I mean, we can, the difference between LaRocque Legion page and then Lightle and Malstadt page from earlier, or we kind of remember Lightle's covers, which is solo Lightle. They are pretty distinct and different from one another.
Right.
And so to me, this page looks extra weird if it's half and half, one artist and then the other.
Right, because you can see it all at the same time.
Yeah. And this page looks like a Giffen layout with the 9 panels and close-ups of heads and really economic kind of boilerplate panel designs and things.
Man, so many cooks.
Yeah. You'd think it'd be a better comic.
Anyway, Brainiac 5 has devised a way of curing him permanently, which seems almost to make sense in the weird way that one of them can't see through lead, but he's allergic to kryptonite, and the other guy is allergic to lead. So it's all very circular. So of course somehow Superboy's blood would be the cure. Oh, and kryptonite was the cure to the lead. But obviously none of it makes any sense whatsoever. It's just we're going to recycle the same 3 or 4 concepts between these two characters.
It really doesn't. It doesn't make sense, and they don't even try to explain it. He's just I'm taking some of your blood, Superboy, and then we're going to irradiate it with kryptonite. And so now I got kryptonite blood, and they introduce, he calls them K cells, which I guess are krypton blood cells.
Mm-hmm.
Puts them into Mon-El, and the K cells will negate the lead poisoning permanently.
Mhm.
So what they're doing is they're curing that lead poisoning he's had since the 1940 in Smallville,
Right.
when Superboy thought he was his big brother.
And this is where, to me, it really, first of all, we know that this is just about the last appearance of Superboy in the series. This is the closest we ever get to any closure to him fucking Mon-El over. You would think there'd be some sort of exchange here or something said between them, or even Superboy just saying something, just acknowledging that, like it's resolved, or that he's sorry, or I don't know. Or even any exchange between those two characters whatsoever. And we never see them even speak.
He just must have thought there'd be more time.
Mm-hmm.
Like so many people who we lose, we just never anticipated it. We thought there would be more time to spend with them.
Superboy is here, yet somehow he's still just like an extra.
Yeah, he's just a blood depository,
Mm-hmm.
repository for these guys.
I guess there was no way they could just extract the blood in the past and bring it.
I'm like, you knew Mon-El was in the Phantom Zone 1,000 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You knew Superboy was in Smallville 1,000 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You got the technology. You do it all the time to go back to fucking Smallville 1,000 years ago.
Yeah, but then you create a paradox. Like, why in issue 300 did they not just go back in time and cure him instead of making him wait 1,000 years? I wonder if, like, Brainiac 5 is just a really scatterbrained procrastinator. Like, it took him one issue to deal with this, and he could have done it at any time. He just only now, when he absolutely had to, put his mind to it and stay up all night once he fixes something that his teammates been dealing with for decades.
Like, what a shithead. He needs to read that book, Getting Things Done, where they're like, if it takes you less than 2 minutes to do a thing, do it right now.
It's the top of his list, but he actually creates like maniacal homicidal robot instead.
I mean, I guess we all do that, huh? It's like, there's the shit that we have obligations to do, but then there's the shit that's like fun that we want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't want to work.
Right.
I want to dick around. Brainiac 5, he's as human as the rest of us.
Until the fun thing gets hard, and then you find something else, and then something else.
I do have that problem. I definitely will drop a fun thing once it's not fun anymore.
Are you about to drop me?
Yeah. Brainiac 5 is still acts unsure that the K cells are really going to work. Oh, but they work. One page later, we discovered that it works fine. Mon-El's fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah, it's that weird anticlimactic device where you just stop right in the middle of this really dramatic scene, and it's just a couple days later, everything's back to normal. Which works sometimes.
He says he's still cold.
Where are they? What's this dome-like place with the L on it?
That's Legion headquarters.
It's round at this period? I can't.
No, it's the one that's like a floating courtyard apartment building.
This one didn't really take, did it?
Well, it's the one that got turned into Flight Ring Village.
Oh.
Got turned into apartments, luxury condos.
Yeah, I don't totally understand the last scene here. Is it implying that he saw Sensor Girl in the Phantom Zone?
I think so. I think that's what they're trying to get at. That now he knows the secret of Sensor Girl.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, this makes a lot more sense. I'm an idiot. I thought he was somehow saying he saw Sensor Girl in there. It's that he can see everything, that he's a super voyeur.
Right. He knows now who she is because he was
watching her undress, and he's like, holy shit.
Yeah, he's like, I want to die. Oh, wait. Well, before that.
Before I go.
Maybe I get to see Sensor Girl naked.
Yeah.
Like, I need to see one more girl naked before I die.
I do love the comic expression with the big eye and the little eye.
Nice. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's kind of looking down his nose or something. I mean, he could look through her mask anytime, so he must have always known who she was, right?
I don't know. Maybe she's casting an illusion. Can he see through illusions?
He can't. There's only one person who has the abilities to see through all of man's illusions.
I hate her. So much wasted potential. I can think of like 10 ideas that I think would be better than what they did, but they should have had Projectra and Sensor Girl on the team at the same time. And like Sensor Girl is like her subconscious, manifesting as like a living illusion.
Oh.
Like it doesn't literally have to be her underneath the illusion.
Yeah, but what would be the circumstances that cause both of them to be on the team at the same time? Because Projector had already left the team a while back because she she's a queen of another planet and she murdered a guy.
Well, you'd have to find an excuse to put her back on the team, I guess. But
I think the reason they got a new character, because Saturn Girl's leaving the team, right?
This is nerdy in universe thinking you're doing.
No, I mean, you're cool. You're right. That would be a cool plot development.
Projector might not even know that it's like a split personality or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That is manifesting.
Oh yeah, and then it's like Sensor Girl could go start like trying to hook up with Karate Kid, and Projector would be like, what's a big idea, Sensor Girl, trying to hook up with my boyfriend or my husband?
My husband's corpse.
That's some dorky in-universe thinking right there, dude.
Right. You're right.
Yeah, that's an idea. That's a good idea. Or Sensor Girl could go out and like marry a guy from another planet and bring him back. Mm-hmm. And then Princess Projector's like, wait a minute. I just realized that you're illusion that I created, and now you're getting married to this guy. Does that mean I'm married to that guy? But I'm already married to Karate Kid. Am I a bigamist?
And what if it was like Censor Man, like instead of a girl, and then that man got Do a Damsel pregnant?
Yeah, Do a Damsel gets pregnant with triplets? How's that going to work?
I'm sure a fan must have written and asked, like, if Brainiac 5 knocked up Shadow Lass, what color would the kid be? Yeah,
we read that one.
We did read that?
Oh, yeah.
Holy shit.
No, there was actually 2 letters pages that talk about that.
I love that. I love that I immediately forget things I learn and then think they're my idea a few weeks later.
Stealing ideas. You're like AI. Anyway, that's the end of this fucking story. Mon-El's fine. He is permanently immune to lead poisoning. Whew. Only took him like 50 years to figure out how to not kill this guy.
You better enjoy it for the 20 or so issues he has before he's like mortally wounded.
I was reading this today. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of sick of Mon-El. Like I've been covering him a lot lately. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, he's one of the most popular characters. He probably gets featured a lot.
We're gonna back off of Mon-El and Time Trapper for a little bit. Kind of tired of these guys.
Well, I think the writers, I mean, even though he's so important to the Glorithverse, the 5 years later shit, like, he's like in 3 issues, you know? I think they run into the same problem with him they ran into with Superboy. They're like, this guy's too powerful. So we need to have him out in space a lot, like exploring too far away to help us.
Right. I mean, even this issue takes away his weaknesses now, too. So he's ultimate power. He's more powerful than Superboy now because he doesn't have a kryptonite, right?
Right.
Yeah, I picked this issue because I didn't remember it. I'm like, oh, this is like a cool Steve Lightle returns. It's going to be a cool Lightle art job.
Yeah.
I didn't remember the story at all. The Lightle art job was not so great. The story was irrelevant and not so great. I mean, I guess it was relevant. It took away that weakness and wrapped that up, but I don't know. It wasn't that great.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's above average for Baxter, non-Giffen Baxter.
Maybe so.
On a curve there, I guess.
Yeah, I'm just kind of down on all of it. Like even the Giffen, like issue 50, I like. Some of the stuff after that I like, but a majority of it, like, it's just not good. Not a good series, really. I'm really sorry to people who have to read this to understand all the other comics in the Legion canon. You got to read these guys. Sorry.
Well, I mean, that's part of the problem with them is you don't have to read them to understand what's going on. I guess you need to know the death of Superboy issues, and then everything from issue 50 on, because that's, you know, Time Trapper, Brainiac getting kicked out, Polar Boy taking over, Magic Wars. Most of the issues in between, nothing really happens. Nothing that would be mentioned in like their who's who history of the Legion. There's very little notable things happening in this period.
Yeah, it's kind of day after day, like Days of Our Lives type of soap opera stuff, right? That all is just blurs together. Well, even the first 5-parter Giffen and Levitz Legion of Supervillains epic
Well,
stunk.
but
No good.
something happened though. Karate Kid died,
That's true.
and it's like the biggest assemblage of their villains we've seen. Like basically every villain they ever had, except maybe Mordru and Time Trapper, all team up.
Yeah, I guess so. It's kind of an interesting idea, but also kind of too much, in my opinion.
Of that big, didn't they have kind of like a Last Supper panel or something with the bad
Where
guys?
was that? Was that in that? I just saw that in something.
I think so. They're all sitting together.
I think I saw another Last Supper panel with the good guys and something I just read. What was it?
Maybe they had mirrored.
Was it? Nah, I don't know. I was just looking at something. And I'm like, why did Giffen put a fucking Last Supper thing in this comic? But I wasn't looking at that Legion of Supervillain story at all. I know that. So it wasn't something else. Weird that Giffen has to force us to endure this Christian religion stuff. Force it down our throats.
He'd found Jesus at that period. He was really strung out on crystal meth.
Yeah.
Staying up all night drawing $6 a month, and he found God.
Yeah, he probably called up Steve Lightle and was like, hey, Invisible Kid, he's a Christian. Put that in your comic. He wears a giant cross necklace.
We have to do that. We should. Oh, go ahead. End
it. End it.
End it. Put it out of its misery.
Legion of Superheroes number 23. Back Home in Hell, starring Mon-El. That's it. LLL.
LL.